Hello everyone, and welcome to Galaxy 89 Cars. Today, thanks to the team at Joe Macari, I'm bringing you an in-depth exterior and interior tour and exhaust video of this 2019 McLaren Senna. Joe Macari currently have this in addition to many other high specification cars for sale, and you can find all of their contact details in the description of the video. Based on the 720S architecture, the Senna is limited to just 500 numbered units and is the most track-orientated and fastest car McLaren have ever made. It's named after famous racing driver Ayrton Senna, who won 3 world championships with McLaren and is still known to be one of the best F1 drivers of all time. The Senna comes in at 4,744mm long, 2,153mm wide, 1,195mm high with the doors closed, and has a curb weight of 1,314 kilograms. Its low weight is thanks to its carbon fibre construction, based on McLaren's new Monocage 3, which is the strongest monocoque chassis McLaren have ever made and comes with a built-in roll cage. The rear mid-mounted engine is hidden away behind glass and carbon fibre and, as far as I'm aware, can't be accessed outside of a workshop. The rear-wheel drive McLaren Senna is powered by an enhanced version of the engine found in the 720S, a 4-litre twin-scroll turbocharged V8 that produces 789 brake horsepower and 800 Nm of torque. This output produces a 0 to 62 mph or 100 km/h time of 2.8 seconds and a top speed of 208 mph. The Senna sits on 19-inch front and 20-inch rear lightweight multi-spoken centre-locking wheels. Braking is provided by next-generation carbon ceramic discs at each corner that take over 7 months to complete and come with F1-inspired 6-piston calipers. These enable the Senna to stop from 124 mph or 200 km/h in just 100 metres. Stability comes from full double wishbones at each corner with adaptive dampers, all managed by race-active chassis control too. This system enables the Senna to be usable on the road and dominant on track, just by changing its drive mode from comfort to sport and then track. We also find an open differential at the rear with torque vectoring via brake steer for sharper, more precise cornering. Now we've finished the model overview, we can begin the in-depth exterior tour. The Senna can produce up to 800 kilograms of downforce, thanks to its integrated front and rear aerodynamic design. At the front, the car starts with this extended front carbon splitter and large radiator air intake centrally. Above this, we find these 2 nostrils that help to streamline air by passing it through the bonnet and along the side of the car. The sides of the front bumper are broken into 3 distinct aero areas. The outermost flaps help to direct air around the side of the car, making it more streamlined. These work in conjunction with the openings that are found inside of these. The innermost section holds these active aero fins that open and close to offer better streamlining or downforce, and work with the rear wing to ensure aerodynamic balance. Moving around, we can see how the lateral channels funnel air along the side of the car from the front. Above, we find the innovative 720S-inspired headlights. They have been designed to be lighter and allow better airflow through the cooling systems and panels of the body. They are comprised of main beams above, with LED daytime running lights below. Moving up, we come to the functionally formed bonnet. The ridges on either side begin with struts fixed to the front splitter, presumably adding extra rigidity. They also help to further channel air laterally. The central portion of the bonnet is formed from 2 McLaren tick-shaped vents that release hot air from the radiator intake we saw earlier and send it over the top of the car. These are separated by what is actually the front boot, and we'll take a more detailed look inside later in the video. The final parts of the bonnet are these air release vents that help to streamline air over the car to the awaiting intake duct and wing. Behind this, we find a well-sized windscreen with 2 wipers below. Moving around, we come to the carbon-backed, electrically adjustable wing mirrors, sitting on their sweeping panels that extend outwards. Moving down, we can see how the front nostrils, lateral bonnet channels and open wheel arches help to streamline air down the side of the car to the awaiting lateral intakes. The toughened Gorilla Glass door panels enable 360-degree vision and help the driver to more accurately find corner apexes. In the small notches to the rear of these, we find the door releases. Moving down, the carbon side skirt is larger at the front than the back to better control air coming from the front of the car. The lateral aspect of the Senna is comprised of 2 intake areas. The lowest intake helps with rear brake cooling and sends air down to the rear diffuser. The larger intakes above are for the high-temperature radiators. The roof above is finished here in gloss black and is mainly comprised of the Gorilla Glass top sections of the dihedral doors. The roof scoop or snorkel behind helps to send air directly into the otherwise inaccessible engine. Moving down, we find flaps on either side of the Senna. The flap to the left is for the car's fuel tank. This can be unlocked with a sustained depress and then easily opened. The Senna's fuel tank has a max capacity of 45 litres and returns a quoted combined MPG of 22.7. The flap to the right allows us to access the header tank, which is part of the Senna's cooling system. Moving down, the stepped louvres here help to drag hot air out of the hot air radiators that we saw the intakes for earlier and can see the exits when taking a closer look. They also help to release hot air from the rear of the engine bay and work to create downforce over the rear arches. Moving centrally, we find this brake light strip and flap for what I believe to be engine oil. Behind, we find one of the biggest contributors to the car's downforce, the rear wing. It is fixed in place, unlike the wing on the P1, but like the P1, the Senna's wing is active and can act as an air brake when braking at high speed, thanks to these thick carbon struts. It is made out of carbon fibre, ensuring low weight but high rigidity, and is formed from two flowing wings to enable high downforce, but allows some air to flow through for better streamlining. The tri-hexagonal exhausts below are formed from Inconel and titanium. They are situated here to ensure the most efficient emission of exhaust gases, as gases have only a short distance to travel from the engine, and they also help to contribute to downforce via their upthrust. Now moving to the rear of the Senna, the first features we come across are the slim LED brake light strips on either side. Centrally, we find McLaren insignia and the rear parking camera. Below this is a long, open grilled area. The grille itself is formed from varying sized hexagons and allows hot air to escape from the engine. To the right of this, we find a Senna logo. Moving laterally, these channels behind the rear wheels help to streamline turbulent air coming off of the rear wheels. Looking at the large diffuser below, we can see how it rises up from underneath the Senna, helping to speed up and depress air flowing under the car. There's a single reflector and 3 fins on either side, with a final LED centrally. Let's hear how the car sounds with a start-up and then idle in comfort mode. Now we've finished the exterior in-depth tour, we can move inside. The smooth key comes with 3 buttons, to lock, unlock centrally, and turn on the lights. Depressing the small button to the rear of the Gorilla Glass, the dihedral door can be easily lifted up. The interior of the Senna is a very stripped back, driver-focused environment, with bare carbon fibre on the dash and only minimal padding on the carbon fibre seats, with every interior component only adding up to 60 kilograms. We can now start the in-depth interior tour with the doors. Under the glass top and window, we find this Alcantara upholstered section where the side airbags are also located, with a strut that fixes below to add greater stability to the door mechanism. Under this, we find the handle integrated into the carbon, the Gorilla Glass and first speaker from the Bowers & Wilkins system that comes with its own driver-focused playlist. Now moving inside, the sill of Monocache 3 descends as we move along it, and it isn't that wide. We find the build number plaque as we start to move up, then the parking brake and exterior light controls, screen switch and tow preparation, and the first manually adjustable air vent. Moving to the left, we find the uncluttered 3-spoke steering wheel finished in Alcantara and carbon fibre. McLaren say its stripped down nature helps the driver to focus on sensory feedback alone. Behind, we find the long carbon gear shifters for the car's 7-speed dual-clutch seamless shift gearbox. To start the car, the red button above needs to be depressed. After a short time, both screens come to life and the driver's instrument cluster folds out, just as in the 720S. The instrument cluster ahead is broken into 3 main sections, from left to right: warning light cluster, the screen, currently in comfort, trip display, rev gauge, speedo in gear selected and tyre pressure, fuel level and drive mode, and second warning light cluster to the right. The trip screen to the left shows information for phone connectivity, vehicle status and service schedule messages, basic trip since start, navigation currently showing direction of travel, DAB digital radio station or media. This can all be manoeuvred through using the stalk to the lower left of the wheel. We can then view the different drive mode displays by turning the powertrain selector from comfort to sport and then track. Thanks to its flippable nature, the screen can be used in this view or flattened out by depressing the button to the right. The dash ahead maintains the Senna's stripped out design spec with just these 2 lightweight sheets that have been formed over the monocoque. 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Moving down, the manually adjustable air vents are built into the carbon monocoque to further reduce components and therefore weight. Despite being based on the 720S, the Senna comes with a redesigned central screen. It's now a floating unit, without any of the additional leather or bodywork attachments of that in the 720S. In the home menu, the user can access a more in-depth phone connectivity screen top left. Media is to its right, where the user can access connected devices. The navigation screen below is much faster than in previous McLaren Ultimate Series cars and is responsive to touch controls. Destinations can also be manually input and selected from recents and favourites. Moving right, we come to the screen for the car's full DAB digital radio. It offers a large and clear display of each station. After depressing the icon in the top left, the user can also view and manually search through the station list. The track telemetry system adds 3 cameras to the car, one in each bumper and one inside, towards the rear of the cabin, and this software package to record and analyse lap times and sector splits, and how well the driver uses the track. All of this can be used to help enhance driving ability and make the most of the Senna's performance. Variable drift control was introduced on the 720S and allows the driver to adjust the car's electronic stability controls to facilitate more or less rear-wheel slip. The final 2 screens are for the rear-view camera and an in-depth digital copy of the driver's user manual. At the bottom of this screen, the user can adjust the passenger and driver's AC zones, in addition to front demist, recirculation, heated wing mirrors and the driver's AC zone. The settings menu, accessed through the gear at the top of the screen, offers general setup for the radio, navigation, sound, phone, time and date and lighting. Moving down, the top button navigates back to the main menu and features a top-down image of the McLaren Technology Centre. The active dynamics controls below have been moved here from the right side in the 720S. Pressing active activates the powertrain and handling drive mode selectors above. These being separate allows the driver the ability to create customized setups. Moving to the right, we find the controls for the electrically adjustable wing mirrors and parking sensors. Moving down, we come to the stripped down, bare central column that offers a 12-volt socket and a small indented storage area. There's an equally stripped down control array behind this for drive, reverse, neutral, launch control, stop-start and hazard lights. Moving back, we come to the second largest storage area the Senna has to offer. At the rear of this area, we also find dual USB inputs and single aux input. And directly above this, we find the interior track telemetry camera. The super lightweight carbon racing seats on either side weigh only 3.35 kilograms each, as they are constructed from a double skin layer of carbon fibre, with only minimal padding in key locations. These are manually adjustable with a bar underneath, and looking laterally, we find the manual release for the doors. The area behind the seats is equally stripped back, with only bare carbon and minimal storage for the track telemetry hardware. The space behind the seats is the largest storage area in the Senna. It has been further reinforced to provide a suitable location to store 2 racing helmets, with a speaker centrally. Further back, there's also a port window that offers a good view of the engine bay and facilitates rear visibility. Moving back outside briefly, we can take a look at the Senna's front boot. To save as much weight as possible, this is little more than an access panel for charging and to replenish brake and washer fluid. There is of course no rear boot and no glove compartment. We can now move back inside briefly to view the car's final few features. The panel above offers buttons for fan speed, race mode, interior locking, engine start or stop, the electric windows and LED reading lights. Once finished with, the doors can be easily closed and fixed by the soft close function. So that concludes my in-depth exterior and interior tour of this 2019 McLaren Senna that's for sale with Joe Macari at the time of publishing. All of Joe Macari's contact details can be found in the description below. Please subscribe for all the latest content, and until next time, thanks for watching.